Hey folks, it's Mark, and as you know, if I'm breaking in before the show, I have a note to make about the recording, and in this case, our special guest, who's never appeared on the show before and has never recorded on a podcast before, joined us, and we didn't quite have the right audio gear for them. That side of the conversation is a little sketchy, but audible and understandable, and so we were happy to have them join us. And next time we will have a proper audio recording set up for them. Hopefully that doesn't detract from your enjoyment of this episode too much. It's just three people talking about a bunch of movies they watched that they really enjoyed. So have fun. Wake Up Heavy is a Weirding Way media podcast.
Welcome to Wake Up Heavy, the world's greatest horror movie podcast. On this episode, my weird dad and I will be talking about...
Oh, but it seems I wore my long legs today.
Hello, and welcome to Wake Up Heavy. This is Mark Begley, your host, and joining me once again is my second or third favorite co-host, my daughter, Cleo.
What the heck? Hey.
Making her debut on the show is Cleo's mom and my wife, Carlita.
Yay! Hi, everybody.
Have you been on a podcast, babe?
No, it was my first endeavor on a podcast.
Yay!
Carlita was off of work for a while after having a minor exploratory surgery, and we had a little marathon of a certain franchise, and the idea for this was sort of born out of that. And then some time has passed since then, but we've seen some other things, and so this will be kind of about that quadrilogy that we watched, which apparently Cleo doesn't recall what I'm talking about by the look on her face.
Oh, God. Great.
And a recent movie that we all saw at the cinema.
Yes.
And some connections with that, and then a bunch of other stuff that we've watched over the last, couple of months, actually. All the way back till April, Cleo, was the last time you and I talked. So, so let's start with the franchise that I'm talking about, and that is the Mad Max series.
Mad Max, the maximum force of the future.
Which you guys said you wanted to watch because of the Furiosa movie that came out. Gosh, what has it been? At least a month or so now that it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm always up for watching the Mad Max movies.
Yeah.
We did work our way through all four, not like in one day or one night or even 1 week, but we made it through. Cleo, what's your history with the Mad Max movies?
Yeah, I had seen, you made me watch...
Made you.
Yeah.
Road Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was weird, but fun. And then a little before Furiosa came out, but before we did our marathon, Will put on Fury Road, and I saw the first maybe 20-30 minutes of that movie, and I loved it. I thought it was really weird. So I finally was like, okay, we gotta watch the rest of them so I can watch that movie.
So first time watching the first one and first time watching the third one.
Yep.
Beyond Thunderdome. How about you, babe? Which ones had you seen before?
Well, I really hadn't seen them all the way through. I mean, I knew of all of the movies, because they came out when we were young, and I think I would catch it here and there if they were getting replayed on cable or something. And then, of course, Thunderdome. That one with Tina Turner was big because that was in the 80s, and I totally remember when that came out. But I've never really watched them all the way through, so this was my first time.
I grew up on Road Warrior. I'm just going to say it right now. It's still my favorite. I think it's amazing what they did without any CGI or anything else like that, and some of the crazy stunts that happened. So that one is still my favorite, and I watched it so much when I was a kid that when Beyond Thunderdome came out, like a lot of people, I was kind of disappointed with it because it sort of went in a weird direction.
Weird, yeah.
This is probably the third time I've ever watched it was with you guys, and it seems to have a lot more in common with Fury Road than the first two films do.
Mm-hmm,
Those two
true.
films seem to connect a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is just sort of a weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I was disappointed with that one when I saw it too, because of having seen The Road Warrior so many times, like, well, this is a totally different kind of movie.
Yeah.
Now they're all totally different kinds of movies in a way.
Even Furiosa is like way different from Fury Road.
And I think a lot of people were bothered by that. They were expecting like Fury Road Part 2.
I liked Furiosa. I thought it was really good.
I liked it too. I liked the prequel, and I would like to see, I guess, what happens after Fury Road.
Yeah.
I'm curious what that would look like. Yeah.
I think there's been talk of that. There's been talk of a number of different
many
avenues.
Different things.
Well, and they're also different, and it becomes almost like a folklore.
Yeah.
Where is Max really the same character, or is it someone that's just being described? These
mythos Max.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they kind of touched on in Thunderdome?
Maybe.
I don't know. Those tribe of kids, I called it Lord of the Rings, but whatever, they thought he was some kind of,
they thought
he was there to save them, right?
Oh, yeah. Sort of like C-3PO and...
and
yes. The Ewoks. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought of. That's so funny.
And even at the end of Thunderdome, they have that little, like, I think it happens in Road Warrior too. They have like the kids in either of those movies talking about, this is the random man named Max who helped us. So he becomes like a legend to these people. I think that happens in both of them, with the feral kid and then the tribe of children.
A lot of people also put that on it because in Fury Road, it's now Tom Hardy, and he's much younger than, he would be if this was a chronological history of him.
Immortal.
He is Max Rockatansky in that, which is the name that Max has in the first film. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
People play different characters in different movies. The villain of the first movie is the villain of Fury Road.
Yeah.
A couple other people from the first movie are in the new one. The gyro pilot in Road Warrior is a different character in the next movie, so it doesn't really matter. What's your favorite, Cleo?
That's like kind of hard because I want to say like Fury Road, and then it's either Road Warrior or Furiosa. But Fury Road's probably my favorite because of how high energy it is.
Just one long chase movie.
Yeah, it's just one.
Intense.
I loved it.
Yeah.
What about you, Carly?
I think I agree with Cleo. I really liked Fury Road because, it's all women stuff, and I just liked that. I really liked how they did that, and her character, and and her saving the virgins, and that whole storyline, and then trying to get back to her people who were obviously, I think, a tribe of women. And I agree too. Road Warrior. I liked those two. Just it was crazy. It was fun.
Yeah.
They were fun.
They're very intense.
Road Warrior is still my favorite, but I like the two newer films very much. And we need to watch Furiosa again because that's the only one I've seen once.
For sure.
Yeah, they went woke with Fury Road, and Max hardly talks, and he's not really the main character, and thumbs down. Thumbs down.
Yeah.
Boo, it's so bad. Boo.
Hey, it was a male supporting and empowering women because he helps them get to where they need to be. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Favorite ally, Mad Max.
So we had another little mini, not marathon, but what would you call it? Connected films. And I don't think we watched these like the same night or even back to back, but we watched some Naughty Nun films that had been getting a lot of buzz.
Those were good. Yeah, I liked
With Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney, and The First Omen with Nell Tiger Free. And they both came out around the same time and were both getting considerable buzz. And Immaculate had a really cool rollout, like a lot of interesting promotional stuff, especially with her. There are a lot of similarities in the films. Mm-hmm. They're very similar.
Yeah.
But the motives are a little bit different.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The end result is different, I guess, for both. Mm-hmm. They're young women in convents. Getting
tortured a bit.
Assigned to do horrible things, I guess.
Yeah. Were they both in Italy, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's in Italian convents, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So which one of those Naughty Nun movies did you like best, Cleo? Or more, I should say.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
They're both really good in like different aspects. Like Immaculate was a little less crazy. First Omen was that one scene was so silly.
Yeah.
That was
I didn't know anything about that.
Surprising. I knew that I had heard that there was something like, oh, they went there, and
there was
like with so many, like with so many other things, it's like, oh, what is it going to be? It's going to be really mild, and no, that was shocking. I don't think I've seen that in a mainstream horror, something like that.
In a non-educational film?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, literally.
Right.
The closest thing I've seen to that is literally the intro to Amelie.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's an actual...
That's also normal. That's a normal scene.
Yeah, that was... like, they're not going to go there. They're not going to go there. Oh, they pretty much did. Yeah.
They
you haven't, not to spoil it, but you'll be surprised. And that's on Hulu now. I don't know if Immaculate's streaming anywhere currently. I didn't check.
I don't know. But another little connection to our later movie we watched. Isn't Immaculate a neon movie too?
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, they've been coming out with the hits recently. Yeah. They're A24 better watch their backs.
Yeah.
Here to
or A24 is going to like absorb.
Well, we saw all those previews for neon movies before the neon movie we watched.
Dude, that one.
Exactly, yeah.
What was it called? Cuckoo?
Mm-hmm. The new one with Hunter Schafer.
I want to see that one.
That's been getting a lot of buzz. So.
Oh, Cersei.
Oh goodness, our cat's having a fit because we're all in separate rooms recording. Although she can get to you too. She can get to you guys.
I don't know what she's doing.
She doesn't get it. She's like a toddler, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah.
Literally, she has no object permanence. That was so funny. That echoed through all of our walls.
Is she? Where is she?
I don't know.
I think she's in front of Dad's because I heard it through his.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, it was pretty close to me.
Yeah.
Let me in now, and it can be nice. Make me go now, and I have to come back. Not once, not twice, but as many times as I like.
Other than our nightly ER, which we get back to every summer and have been doing since the pandemic, we have watched quite a bit of other stuff because you were home for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
And one of those was Witches of Eastwick, which I think we've been pushing for a while, haven't we? It's come up a bunch.
Yeah.
As something fun to watch, and finally did. You've seen it before, Carly, right?
No, I was thinking I had, but I'm like, no, I didn't. I mean, it's just I remember when that stuff came out, but I guess I never had actually saw it. It was good.
What about you, Cleo? What'd you think?
That was so weird. The cherry scene hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I knew. Because it kind of hurt my feelings when I saw it in the theater. Because that stuff still sort of grossed me out. Like the scene in Stand By Me and things.
The Stand By Me one doesn't get me because it just looks like it's just purple. So that one doesn't bother me that much. When it's
bothered me.
Speaking of ER, when it's ER level...
Yeah, that's nasty, man.
ER's vomit is gross.
Yeah,
brown
ER's
and
vomit
chunky.
is so nasty looking, and it's brown.
That's way worse than either of those. Witches of Eastwick or Stand By Me. Yeah, I hadn't seen Witches of Eastwick in a long time, but it's fun. I was thinking, this is going to be so problematic because it's late 80s and Jack Nicholson and these three women.
I love Jack Nicholson, especially when he plays roles like that, where you're just like, oh my God. Yeah. And I liked the three women, the three witches. Yeah.
And we caught, I don't know how many times we caught Moonstruck It was playing on like 2 or 3 different channels. It was on TCM and it was on MGM and one of our other.
Yeah, I feel like once we watched it, then it kept coming on. But that was really good too. I liked that.
It was a cute movie.
Yeah, it's a classic. Had you not seen that one either, babe?
No. See, a lot of these movies, I remember when they came out and all this stuff, surrounding them and all the Oscar nominations for Moonstruck. And I think Cher won. I remember all the stuff about the movie, but I never actually saw it.
What were you doing as a teenager?
Was I really a teenager though when that came out? Was I? Or maybe early teens?
89?
Yeah, so I was 14.
Or 87 maybe.
87. No, 87 I would have been 14. Yeah.
Get your
so early.
Right.
Watching other movies, I don't know.
Watching 16 Candles for the millionth time.
Yeah, 16 Candles.
Pretty in Pink.
Going to the theater,
Candles.
Dirty Dancing, whatever, yeah.
Well, yeah, you might not have been able to get into this one, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's true.
Because we did go, my friends and I, we would go watch a lot of movies, but if it was I wouldn't have been able to see it.
Oh, well, yeah. I forget that's a thing. I forget that our movies, because I watch so many of them.
I have a question for you when we get to our big movie for this episode. Speaking of that, we also watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I think I got the title right.
Yeah.
The meta Nick Cage movie with Pablo. No, Pedro. Let's call him Pablo Pascal. Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
That was your pick, Mom.
Yeah. Well, because nobody had any ideas, and I'm like, "Ooh, what's this?" So it looked interesting, and it ended up being pretty good.
Yeah, it was
cute.
I thought it was going to be kind of I don't know, cringe cheeseball, but it was like actually pretty fun. Especially both of their performances were so just silly. Yeah. I really enjoyed it actually. I was surprised.
I like him in the car looking at Nicolas Cage,
smiling.
I was going to say I liked their relationship. Yeah, how much they like.
Well, they're both high off their mind or whatever, and they're just
they were stoned during that scene. But it's been memed so much, I didn't really know what the context was of that. So
and they're driving on the wrong side of the road or whatever.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Nick Cage playing a fictionalized version of himself was it didn't get as over the top as it could have. So that was kind of nice. It was fun.
I was just going to say, I like the gal that played his wife, his real wife in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The British.
The game night gal.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
How can that be profitable for Frito-Lay?
And she was in my show. I watched Two Good Bad Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And another silly film we watched and another pick by you, Carlita, was the Pop-Tart movie, Unfrosted, on Netflix. Jerry Seinfeld's directorial debut.
Yeah. And he wrote it too, I think. Yeah. Again, nobody could decide on something, so I just picked that. Well, and I like Melissa McCarthy, so I knew it would have to be funny in some way, so.
It was silly. It wasn't horrible. I'd heard kind of bad things about it, but it was entertaining. It was kind of weird. It's why are we doing this?
Pop-Tart insurrection thing was insane. That was so...
Those 2 kids that kept popping up were...
Yeah, the dumpster divers. Yeah. I got to eat this out of the dumpster. It's so good, yeah.
It was just weird. It was weird. Why?
It was a silly movie.
It almost reminded me, it felt cartoonish, even though it wasn't. But that was the feel.
I really like the production design of it, though. All the mid-century stuff and just the brightness of it.
And wasn't there...
It was done very well.
Yeah. There was moon stuff, too. They had the fake moon thing or whatever. That was also just there was so much... There's a lot of stuff going on.
The anthropomorphic ravioli...
Oh my
gosh, yes. That was still around.
That was
at the
so
end.
weird. The little creature, the Franken ravioli.
Yeah, why?
Where did that come from?
Why are we doing this?
Whose idea was that?
I don't know if it was a commentary on all those movies that had come out recently, like the Flaming Hot Cheetos one, and all these stories about these inventions, sort of modern inventions that I'm why do I care who invented Flaming Hot Cheetos?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I think this was shortly before our trip. We watched a classic Steve Martin film that we've been mentioning for a while, but finally, I'm not sure what prompted that. We saw something.
It was on
I was getting ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
All right, and it was on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's right. And you came in and like, what's this?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we need to watch Parenthood because
Yeah.
this is great.
And then Amadeus Quasimodo was on screen, and I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Tom Hulse, all kinds of people in that movie. Mary Steenburgen, one of our favorites.
And Keanu,
and I think...
And Joaquin.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my second favorite Keanu Reeves role after River's Edge, because I love him in River's Edge.
He's so silly in it.
Martha Plimpton, who, Diane Wiest, Joaquin.
Who she's always great, yeah.
Yeah, little baby Joaquin.
Leaf Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of people.
What, mom's age? He's the same age as you, so
yeah.
He's like a year
younger, yeah.
And that was 89, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He would have been 14-ish when they filmed it, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a fun...
I really liked that movie. Because I didn't know what to expect, because I didn't know what the heck it was about. So I was just like, okay, we'll watch it.
A big family and their issues. And it's a Ron Howard movie. How can you go wrong?
Yeah, it was good.
The grandma.
Kind of surprised at how long it was. Oh, the grandma's great.
I love her, yeah.
Her commenting about, like, she needs to get a man or whatever. That was so...
Yeah.
She was cute. We watched Repo Man.
Oh, yeah, we watched
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did.
That was
my choice because no one could make a decision. And I'm like, oh, you want something funny? Well, here's Repo Man.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And that was after our Mad Max thing, wasn't it? Because, again,
probably.
I think we were still on, like, a weird car kick.
We watched it in between the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that was really
yes.
Which I forgot because that was right after First Omen. Then we watched Repo Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I did fall asleep. That's right. And we watched then the Nick
really
Cage.
Yeah,
I like the artwork in that.
Yeah,
it's very similar to Spider-Verse with the kind of
that's what I thought
frame rates and
like
the
pencil
style.
lines and stuff.
Kind of like booky.
Yeah, it's cool.
I liked it. I liked that movie. It was cute.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it again because I missed a huge chunk of it.
Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, that was good.
On the floor or something. I don't even remember.
He was on the couch. You were on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fall asleep during Repo Man though.
No, yeah, we all watched that.
Repo Man was
I think we were all on the couch. Yeah, that was good.
It's a weird one, Cleo.
Yeah, that beginning scene where he just gets like obliterated. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I love the glowing car. The whole thing about the car is just crazy. It's nutty.
Radiation, alien, whatever. Whatever it is.
It's just fun.
And then the winner on Jeopardy looked like the dude on.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah,
because it was right after we watched it. He won, and we're like,
make a post about it.
He did.
Check my Instagram for context about what we're talking about.
So
I wasn't singing, guy.
Feeling 7 up, I'm feeling 7 up. Feeling 7 up, I'm feeling 7 up. It's a crisp, refreshing feeling, crystal clear and light. America's drinking 7 up, and it sure feels right. Feeling lucky 7.
Kevin, stop singing, man.
Huh? Wasn't singing, guy.
I'm standing right next to you and you're fucking singing. Cut it out.
I totally forgot about that.
I love Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin's my favorite character in Repo Man, by the way.
A little Napoleon Dynamite-esque. You know.
Yeah. Yep, totally.
Whole mix of it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I forgot.
And so that kind of brings us to our focus on this episode, and that is a recent movie. And if you follow me on any of my social media, you'll know that this is the first movie that I have gone to see in the theater since 2020. And there's a connection between the two films. You guys have been a few times, obviously, over the last 4 years. I haven't been to one in 4 years. So we were on vacation last week in the central coast of California, Pismo Beach, and it coincided. The trip was planned a year ago?
Yeah, basically.
February, yeah. We started talking about it before then, but yeah, we narrowed it down in February.
It's been a while.
And so this movie was rolling out, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be playing when we're on vacation. I wonder if it'll be playing anywhere near where we are. And since it's, sleepy little coastal towns, you don't know if movies like this that aren't from major studios are going to play, but it did. The three of us, plus Cleo's cousin Will, my nephew, our nephew, went to see the new Oz Perkins film, Longlegs.
There she is, the almost birthday girl. Oh, but it seems I wore my long legs today. What happens if
Yeah, so the last movie I had seen in the theater was Gretel and Hansel by Oz Perkins back in February of 2020 before the pandemic hit. I'm a fan of his. I've seen all of his movies.
Yeah.
And I think, Cleo, now you have as well. And Mom will have to catch up with us. And I'm happy to watch the other ones again.
Oh, yeah.
But
sure.
what'd y'all think of Longlegs?
I really liked
I did
it.
too. Yeah. Well, especially all the hype with you and Will being all freaked out and thinking it was going to be
me and Will were scared to
major
see it.
scare fest. And then we go, and it was, I really loved it. And then I liked too that there were those little, I felt like he played it so well.
Yeah.
And then his little like humorous things that he did. Yeah, I thought the whole thing was good. And I love that Alicia Witt is in it. And and surprising Blair Underwood. I was like, what? Yeah. So it was just, it was really good.
Oh, and Kiernan. I didn't know she was in that. So that was a little fun thing. I didn't know Alicia Witt was in it either. I just knew about Micah
Monroe, who you and I are definitely fans of, Cleo, because we've watched quite a few films. You've watched It Follows with me, I think, as well. So she's the lead girl in that.
One of my favorite horror movies.
And that Watchers movie that we watched was really good, Cleo. And I've seen her in quite a few other things. And she's always good in whatever she's in, whether the movie's like top notch or not. She's good.
She's like a certified scream queen, I'd say. She's really good. So I think I've only seen her in horror. I don't think I've seen her in anything else. So
yeah, I mean, she definitely is in a lot of genre films. I'm trying to think if there's something that I've seen that goes outside of that, and I don't think so. I know she's been in some other stuff, but I don't think I've seen any of them either. The marketing for this movie, though, was brilliantly done by Neon.
Yeah.
Started, I don't know how many months ago, just really vague, creepy images from the film. It got people pretty hyped. And then, of course, word of mouth when it was playing festivals was really big. It got the old scariest movie of all time crap, which I don't think does any of these movies any
it does not help movies
service, because they said that about It Follows, and I went and saw It Follows in the theater, and I was like, that shit ain't all that scary.
Yeah.
Excuse my
again, it's
language.
like, to me, it's like creepy, but not like
it's a very
and scary is subjective, just like just like comedy is. It's subjective. So it might be the scariest movie this particular person saw, but and then because then you get all the backlash of it wasn't that scary. I wasn't scared, and some people equate it with jump scares or jump screams.
Screams, yes.
Somebody likes to call them
jump screams
because you jump and you scream.
Perfect.
And there was you did have a good jump scream in this one, babe.
You in the theater,
that when it flashed to that,
that was such a good
couple times. And then Will had his hoodie on.
That was so funny.
So
because we're like turning, how's Will doing? And we just see him pulling his hoodie down over his face before the movie even started.
I had to ask almost every day if my daughter and my nephew were going to go, because they were chickening out because of the hype that they had heard.
Marketing. Dude.
Will is apparently a little baby scaredy cat and hasn't even finished Black Coat's Daughter. Which I don't fault him on, because
Black Coat's Daughter is
that one to me is chilling. Actually creepier and more dread-filled than Longlegs for some reason.
I was going to say it's more realistic, but if you've seen Black Coat's Daughter, that's not necessarily true.
It is, because it's not necessarily satanic. Whereas in this one, they're pushing that a lot more as this is part of the story. This isn't necessarily in somebody's mind. I think the setting in Blackcoat's Daughter adds to that, and it just being like 3 young girls as the, center of the stories, and how that can be kind of more dreadful.
Yeah.
Instead of adults and FBI agents. And
yeah. Mom, you'll have to watch Blackcoat's Daughter with us.
Yeah.
Soon. It's very good.
The scariest movie thing, whatever, but the dread is the other word that everybody was using. And it's
Very
just filled.
unsettling.
Every scene is dripping with dread and this and this and this. So
No, I wouldn't say that.
Again, hyperbole, but
yeah,
there is an underlying disturbing tone throughout the film.
Yeah, yes, I agree with.
Her childhood, her life, as you get bits and pieces of it, is pretty awful.
Yeah.
There's this negative energy revolving around all the characters.
Yes, yeah.
Even in you see this in literally everything I think I've watched. The way he frames stuff. There was that scene where, when me and Will first saw something, cough, cough, she's just like sitting, in the FBI room. She's just sitting, and it's like framed in this big space, and you're looking behind her because there has to be something behind her. There is. It's just very like, I don't like the vibe. Or like when she's in her Lincoln Long house, literally what it looks like. It looks like
with the big windows. Yeah.
There's this one shot where she's at the desk, and then the big doorway is behind her.
Open doorway behind her.
And it's just like pitch black. And I was just, when we were in the theater, I was just like,
yeah, that's what you're looking at. You're
not paying attention to her.
Or even unnaturally, if you're not maybe horror aficionado.
Yeah.
I think if you are, you're particularly looking, but your eyes drawn there either way. He does a lot with those static
in space
camera shots, and the camera barely moves in any of his movies, which I just love.
Yeah, I really like that style.
Lots of composition, blocking, all that stuff is a little more important than a moving camera. This, and actually in Longlegs, I think it moves the most than in any of his previous films.
We were watching, oh God, what's the full title? I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in This House.
Yeah.
If that's the full, I had probably got that wrong.
Something to that. I am the pretty thing that lives in the house or this house.
It's a long title. That one has a lot of the camera does not move a lot in that movie.
No, yeah. They're locked down. The camera's locked down and the characters moving in and out of frame.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's one of the reasons I like his movies so much.
Yeah.
It's not stylized. As apparent in Longlegs because they're on the go and she's an FBI agent and you have to the camera has to move when they're within a scene like that. Sort of her opening with the other FBI agent. I thought they were looking for Longlegs at that point, but apparently was another murderer. The whole thing that was being worked on.
That was a big...
Oh, yes. Yeah, I thought that was... Yeah, I thought the same thing originally, too.
I know the movie came out like 3
Can we
weeks
do
ago,
spoilers?
Yeah, can we do spoilers?
So if you don't want to hear spoilers, then jump ahead to this portion of the episode.
Skip to 45:36.
Okay, the cold open, which I remember a lot of people were like, oh my God, the cold open is like so disturbing and so scary. It's not, but I really liked it because for a lot of the movie, you don't think that little girl is, what's her name? Lee? Is that her name?
Harker. Yeah.
Lee Harker.
Micah.
Lee Harker, yeah.
You're just like, oh, it's probably one of the other victims or it's Kiernan Shipka. That's who I thought it was. I think I said that. I was like, oh, it's Kiernan, isn't it? No. I loved the framing, back to framing in that opening because she's like walking and then you can kind of just snow and white. And that's the other thing. Longlegs, he's dressed in all white, but you kind of see him in the background a little bit. I don't know. That opening scene was so good. And then I want to talk about his singing and dancing and screaming.
Well, that was
part of the movie.
Yeah, that was the other thing. As it rolled out into festivals, it's like, you will not recognize Nicolas Cage in this.
No.
And I'm glad they were so protective of the image because it is a big part of the shock of the film is what he looks like. And it wouldn't be as big of a shock if you didn't know it was him. But I also kind of agree with the Red Letter Media guys who talked about this on a recent episode where may have benefited the movie if it wasn't Nicolas Cage and you have these expectations of someone who does go kind of over the top on occasion, and it might pull you out of, well, this is Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. But the makeup plays a good part in keeping you from thinking that, because he does not look like Nicolas Cage.
No.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
His makeup is...
They mention in that episode again, he's trying to look like a doll, apparently, or something. He's doing something to his face.
Yeah.
He's trying to look like
he looks like the anemic boys
glam rock star.
Yeah.
He looks like the what, babe?
I was going to say the anemic boys in, Fury Road and all that.
The little white war boys.
Yeah, the white war boys. Yeah.
That are dying of
They need their blood sacks.
Whatever.
Yeah, he needed his blood sack.
Yeah, he needed...
He needs a blood bag.
He needed Max on the front of his station wagon.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I hear what you're saying. I don't know. I liked that I knew that it was Nick Cage. He was unrecognizable.
It's so crazy to think about it being Nick Cage. Because, the scene where he's singing.
The singing is
my favorite part.
Disturbing.
Dude,
borderline comical, and I'm sure that in lots of theaters people laugh at that.
Oh yeah, we were laughing.
It was psychotic a little bit, yeah.
Even if you are laughing because it's so ridiculous, it's still disturbing.
Yeah,
yes, like it's creepy.
If I was that girl, she's probably like what? I don't know. I'm gonna say like 13 when that happened. It's probably not right, but like she was a young kid
at the opening. You mean?
Yeah. If a man, first of all, who looked like that, who's like the newest star of a new episode of Botched, looked like that, came up to me and started singing and doing little hand movements and just, literally, that's so scary. As funny as it is on screen, that would be terrifying to happen in real life.
Oh yeah. Well, oftentimes as a kid, you kind of just freeze up, so.
Which is kind of what she did, but she took a picture of him, which is also crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the balls to do that.
And the fact that she then blacked it out and didn't remember until she saw the Polaroid again.
Yeah.
Like she had no recollection. Well, and one of my favorite scenes was the bus when he's waiting at the bus stop when they're coming to get him. And he raises
he puts his suitcases down.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned to you in the car the other day, Cleo, he does his little Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
He does his Raising Arizona tiptoe dance in that. And I just about lost it because
that's right.
His little legs.
Yeah, I love it. Though.
I was surprised that they caught him so quickly.
Yeah,
me too.
Everybody was so tight-lipped, and I think respecting the twists and turns of the movies. I didn't realize that he was going to be caught so quick, and then I thought, okay, this either means he's not the guy,
which would be crazy,
would be weird, or he has a partner, or it's supernatural, which it is, but in a different way. I was thinking, okay, it's one of those three things, and where are we going? And the connection with her and her mom, I'm not sure how cool I am with that.
What do you mean though, babe?
That it's her mom that's the partner. I don't know. It's
like how that became,
it just seemed a little convenient.
Yeah, and I guess that also happens when you have like four characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of people in that movie.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense or that. I don't know.
Or
like,
to
really,
me,
we're going with her mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I kind of saw it too, that she was just enough of a wacko that she went along with it, even though the way they made it seem is that she had to do it or her daughter wouldn't be allowed to grow up, like as she said, that her mom was an interesting character in and of herself. So
I
feel like that kind of makes sense to me.
It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just that I get the method of recruiting her, but that it's her mom and she's now the FBI agent that's hunting him.
Yes. Yeah.
It almost makes it too small of a story. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it bugged me a little bit. I don't mind it so much upon reflection. Like sometimes on Criminal Minds, when it looks like there's two separate stories, but then they connect. And it's like, why are we connecting these? Why can't they just be two separate stories?
Yeah, things. Yeah.
Which, like they said on Red Letter Media, this isn't unlike a number of Criminal Minds episodes.
Oh, how funny. Yeah, it is.
It's not the same, but there is an episode where one of the unsubs is making people into her dolls that she makes.
Yeah, that is a creepy episode.
That is one of my favorite episodes because it's horrifying. And then the other episode that's similar is the puppet episode where he also makes the victims puppets. Mom, you probably know what I'm talking about. Maybe.
Is it the one where his mom was a movie star, or he thinks?
Yeah, something like that. It's like a weird in the theater, and he has the marionettes, and they're like their joints are popped out. It's such a gross episode. Oh, God. But like definitely similarities. And then one of the biggest ones was Silence of the Lambs, which we've seen how many times?
Yeah.
A gazillion. I love that movie. Well, and that made me think, so when Cleo, you were talking about the opening scene in Longlegs and how it didn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie, I'm trying to remember, okay, I know we've seen it a gazillion times, but isn't that similar to Silence of the Lambs? Isn't like that opening scene, isn't there a scene where they find someone and then she starts to go to work on the actual
in Silence of the Lambs, she's doing the what it reminded me of when they were doing that scene where they go to the
you're talking about what I said about her and her partner, short-lived partner, are going to the house. Okay, I was confused because I was the one
not
that
the
said that.
Bin.
Not with her. Okay,
yeah. It reminded me in Silence of the Lambs of the scene where she's practicing and they go check your corners and she gets fake shot when they're going through the fake houses.
Oh, right. Yes.
Except, her partner does actually get shot in the face.
There is no other investigation in Silence of the Lambs. It's just that she's sent to Hannibal Lecter under false pretenses. So she doesn't know she's going there as part of the Bill investigation.
Yeah.
But they're not separate.
They recruit Lee after they see she has clairvoyance or whatever. So we're going to have you work on this really weird case. It's similar. I mean, Silence of the Lambs is definitely what inspired it. There's no way.
Yeah.
No, it did remind me. Yeah.
And Zodiac and with the letters and the symbols and
the smiley face.
Yeah. So the triangle with the smiley face.
Ew.
And probably other serial killers, even though that was it a doll or a mannequin that they found in that box? But
the dolls.
We know of serial killer or people that abducted people and kept them in a box. So
the dolls hurt my feelings when we watched that. In that scene where they open the barn up and they get the box out and they pick it up in its life size, I was like, I don't like
and
this.
Very realistic. The facial features are very realistic on all the dolls.
Yeah. And you can tell when he was making them, you could tell which one was which. This is Lee's. Oh, this is Kieran Shipka's. And then, of course, at the end, this is Ruby.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Ruby.
That was her name.
Well, and I think it's interesting, too, when they find the first doll, and then I guess it's the guy that, dissected it, and he found the thing in the head, and he's like, well, I keep putting this, and I swear it was telling me to do something to my wife. Well, you don't think anything of it until later when you realize that's really what was happening.
Yeah.
It was telling people to do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting.
It was making him think of his ex-wife, which he...
Yeah.
Not that he was going to do anything to her, but it kept making him think of her, and he hadn't thought of her in forever.
Yeah. Which you're just like,
the whole mechanics of the thing are whatever. It seems a little convoluted, but that's okay.
But hey, man, it doesn't have to be some super complicated, this is the magic orb or whatever. It can just be a ball with Satan juice in it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me that much.
I don't need it explained at all.
Literally.
Don't explain it because that's even worse, but it's just
it's a little silly, but
put the thing in the thing and then you give it, okay, whatever.
It works.
Sure.
Yeah, the dolls were gross. And then I remember, I think it was the day after we watched it, I was scrolling through TikTok and an article popped up and it was Perkins got the inspiration for that because John Benet Ramsey had a life-size doll of her.
Oh, right. Yeah.
In her basement where she was found dead. And that's where he was like, what if we put dolls that looked exactly like all the victims in it? And I went, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
It's messed up, bro.
Yeah, what the heck? Because you're literally like, I really hope out of all things in this movie, the dolls aren't something that was based in reality. Guess what? Guess what they were.
And you can buy dolls like that that are a likeness of yourself.
Pretty spooky though. The dolls were just so freaky. I did not. I think it's because they were, other than the fact that there's the scenes where it cuts to their face with the veil on it and it has the
Yes.
Yellow eyes. That looked really scary in the theaters.
Yeah,
it hurt my heart in the theaters. Like, I get what you're talking about with the did it really have to be the mom that was his partner? But I kind of liked the fact that Longlegs wasn't in the movie a lot.
Well, I was thinking he'd be in it even less, to be honest with you. I was surprised that we see him as soon as we do, and that we had as many scenes with him as we do, just because of the comparisons to Silence of the Lambs, where you get little snippets of Bill throughout the film, but no real interaction with him until the very end.
Yeah.
Except for between him and his captive at that point.
And his dog.
Yeah.
But it's nice not knowing anything because they kept so tight-lipped about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I really
Okay, so did he directed it, right? Did he write it?
Oz Perkins? Yeah.
No.
He did both.
Okay, Oz Perkins wrote and directed it. Okay, I was thinking that Nick Cage directed it or something.
No.
He just starred in it. Okay.
And then Cleo and I watched I Am the Pretty Thing. I'll just shorten it to that. The other his Netflix movie with Ruth Wilson, the duck-faced girl. She's in a bunch of your shows and stuff.
The duck-faced girl.
Woman in the Wall, something you're watching right now.
We were looking at that. That was so funny.
Which relates to that film, if anybody's seen it. And and then the three of us watched Gretel and Hansel last night.
Yes.
That was fun. That was very weird, but I liked it.
Yeah, again, very
PG-13.
Stylized, interesting composition throughout. Almost all of his movies, up to maybe Longlegs, probably has the biggest cast. They're all very self-contained,
very
like 3 or 4 characters in isolated spots. I mean, the pretty thing in the house is her, basically, almost solo.
It's literally, because even Miss Blum, I think was her name, she's like barely in it.
Yeah.
Also because she's like senile, but she's not in it a lot.
He keeps it simple, which is smart.
Yeah, I like it. And then, yes, I checked. Nick Cage produced Longlegs. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, I knew it was something. I was thinking.
Yeah, he did something on it, but I didn't.
Anything else about Longlegs?
I don't know. Just that I really liked it. I'll definitely have to rewatch it now.
Yeah, I definitely want to rewatch it. Yeah, I want to rewatch it.
I was talking to Chris earlier, recording the Chevy Chase show, and mentioned that I had seen it, and he had watched it too. And then we both were like, I need to watch it at least a couple more times to catch, for one thing, to catch all the hidden demons.
Yeah, me and
spoilers again. So if you haven't caught all the demons, you need to do that.
Yeah, me and Will only saw like 3, and then it turns out there's like 15 or whatever, like a much more than what we saw. So I don't.
And I'm sort of glad I hadn't heard about that beforehand, because that's probably all I would have been looking for, and then you miss a bunch of other stuff.
When it first happened, because you two were sitting next to each other, and then me and Will were sitting like side by side. Me and him saw the first one, and we both kind of just looked at each other, and then immediately back to the screen, and it just was gone. And we were like, "What was that? What was that?" Yeah, we caught a few more, but
one of them was fairly obvious, and then now you're kind of clued in that something's happening. Not as
hidden as Haunting of Hill House.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Cleo.
Those were hidden. That one I found under the piano, and it was just
but then you start. Then that's all you start looking for, though. Yeah. So it's. Yeah, I'm glad. Glad I didn't know
it.
Yeah, me too, because that would have been very distracting to be like, "Oh, where's the hidden demon?" instead of paying attention to the damn movie.
I'm glad I didn't know about the dolls either. The dolls are in the trailer, but also not really, because it's just the eyes. I'm glad I didn't know a lot about this movie, because it made it, again, like you were saying, me and Will were freaking out before we even saw the movie. So
right, scaredy cats were worried they weren't going to be able to sleep for the rest of the week or something.
It was,
Cleo did come
that
sleep
marketing
in the room
was crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
I had sadly nowhere else.
The marketing was very sharp and smart. It still seems like they're keeping things tightly under wraps, because I can't find any clips online except for crappy TikTok videos.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to
So all the clips you're hearing might not sound that great because it's TikTok, and I think it's people recording in the theater. So
oops,
there'll be some echo and crud.
It's okay. We saw Longlegs on Mom's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was part of
which is kind of
her birthday
funny.
Presents and Will's late birthday since his the week before. So
yeah, no, it was good.
If only you were born on the 14th, Mom.
Yeah.
I know. And the fact that it was so centered around birthdays, too.
Mm-hmm. Perfect birthday movie.
Kind of in between yours and Will's, actually.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and then be back with some more chats about stuff that Cleo and I watched. Spoilers are over for Longlegs. Feel free to come back and join us after the break.
The words are saying, I am to blame. She used my head like a revolver. The words are saying.
So one of the other... Go ahead, babe.
Go ahead. No, I was looking up Oz Perkins, but it's showing Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
Yes, he's in Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
My name is David Kidney. I have a master's in Russian literature, a PhD in biochemistry, and for the last 18 months, I've been deworming orphans in Somalia.
Awesome.
Look at the picture.
I need to look at his pictures. I need to look at his face.
He's her little weird friend in Legally Blonde.
Yes.
The kind of odd one.
Yep.
The chubby face.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did some acting before he
I see
got into writing and directing.
Okay.
We got to find that movie that was on.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah. That's funny. Okay, what were you going to say, Marky?
Just that another film that Cleo and I watched that you caught the tail end of, or roughly the last maybe act, Revenge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That director has... Did we see... Yeah.
Yes, we saw the trailer.
That was one of the trailers we saw. The Substance with Demi Moore and Margaret
that looks good.
No.
Yeah.
Qualley?
Yeah, it is her.
Yeah.
She's younger. Isn't she supposed to be I don't even... Dude, that trailer was so crazy.
I mean, don't try to figure out what's going on in the trailer.
Yeah, I'm I don't even know.
Yeah, so that director, we watched Revenge, which I had seen before quite a while ago. A rape revenge film that gets pretty crazy.
Dude, yeah.
And really bloody at the end.
Yeah.
I forgot how much blood there is in that fancy place.
It's very stylized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's crazy.
There's a lot of something happens and there's too much blood for a normal wound. I don't know what she maybe stabs or cuts someone and they splatter on the screen. And I'm there's not that much blood coming out on a normal person. It was very stylized, cool looking film.
Mm-hmm.
The desert, I felt because we were watching Mad Max. We were
watching
everything's very desert centric movies. Yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah. Especially there was a few car chase scenes in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the desert, very dirty, very Mad Max, grime.
Yes. Yeah.
Aesthetic.
I came in when she was just waking up from being in the cave and she had the stick or whatever through her abdomen.
Oh, so that was actually pretty early on then.
Yeah. So you caught almost half of it.
2/3 of it at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that scene was gnarly. Her pulling it.
Yeah.
There was
and then burning
herself up.
Cauterizing it. Yeah.
So gross. I liked that movie. It was done very well. Because, I don't know, rape revenge movies can be weird, I feel.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. I'm totally backtracking here, but is Longlegs the first rated R movie you've seen in the theater?
First rated R and first horror movie I've seen in a theater. So
there you go.
Great combo. That's probably why I was so wigged out when we were watching it.
So you look 12. They're probably going, they're taking this kid in.
They're taking this child. Because that one time where I was at least 14 when I went to the theater and I got charged as a child.
Yes. I did not correct them.
I have read stories of people saying, I'm in here watching Longlegs and this person brought their 6-year-old. So
yeah, what the hell, people?
Hey, that's how you traumatize.
I think we're okay with bringing our almost 17-year-old.
That's crazy. Hi, I'm 6. This is my first
even though
rated R
she's
movie.
A scaredy baby.
Not for a lot. Okay, well, I'm not going to say that actually.
Okay, so I think after this, babe, is pretty much just us.
Okay.
Our movies,
so
yeah.
I don't know if you want to sit and listen.
Bye. It was fun.
Bye.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for inviting me. Okay,
we'll have to do this more. Get you better sound equipment for the next time.
I want a fancy microphone like yours, like Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, a headset works just fine. Going back, all the way back to the beginning of April, we watched that Mute Witness. I don't even know if you remember what that was about.
No, yeah, I really liked that movie. That was also another, like, I wasn't expecting some humor in that movie, but there was. That I'm trying to say, it has been a while since we watched it.
Yeah.
That one scene where I think they're in the house and they like, I can't remember. Like, I remember it being funny, but I can't remember what happened. That was a really good movie, though.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Interesting concept.
Interesting concept. It reminded me of a movie that I really like called Blowout, which we need to watch at some point because it's one of my favorites. That before meta became like
meta
in everything.
Yeah.
After Scream, basically everything's meta, but it has that idea of like, oh, well, what's real and what's not, and we're on a movie set, and she knows these tricks about movies because she's what was she?
She makeup artist?
Yeah, the makeup artist.
Yeah.
You know, the ideas of snuff films and all that kind of creepy stuff. So yeah, it was really interesting to see. I remember the poster for it from back when I was like a teenager, but had never seen it.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I think you just randomly were like, you sent me the IMDb page and you were just like, hey, you want to watch this? And I went, yeah.
It had popped up on Shudder, and I was like, it's something that I had tried to look for in the past. And so since you're home for vacation, I'm going to ask if you want to watch something, or else I will watch it by myself.
Yeah.
Give you the opportunity to watch or not.
Yeah.
And then we watched the Dracula on a Boat movie.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't remember a whole bunch about it, so that kind of leads me to think that it wasn't that great. It wasn't bad.
I don't know. If you asked me to like, actually, this is kind of hard. But if you were like, what Dracula movie would you rather watch, or vampire movie? I'd probably say, well, I'd probably say Lost Boys, but I'd probably say Bram Stoker's Dracula, not Voyage of the Demeter. But it still was a really good movie. Like otherwise, like it was good.
Yeah, cool. It was good. It was fine. Movies can be fine.
Yeah, they don't have to be amazing or even good or bad.
And then we watched...
Wait, was that the day that Jinx ran outside?
I don't know, Cleo.
That was so bad.
We watched a Catherine Newton...
Yeah,
wait,
2.
We watched... How many of these movies was she in? 3? Did we watch 3 Catherine Newton movies?
Yeah, Abigail. She was in Abigail, too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we watched Freaky...
I loved Freaky. We have to talk about it.
Lisa Frankenstein. Was she in that one?
Lisa Frankenstein, yeah.
Okay.
She has like, ginger hair in that, though.
And Abigail.
Yep.
So, wherever you want to start.
Forgot. Okay.
Yeah, and I just realized right now that she was in all 3.
All 3 of them, yeah. I really liked Freaky.
Good.
Because we had brought it up a few times. Or you had brought it up a few times.
I suggest these things all the time and just wait for you to be like, okay.
Well, I was kind of... I don't know. We've watched a lot of bad body swap movies, so...
Which ones have been bad? Well, the ones I did on Chris's show.
Not horrible, but like...
I don't count those. Those were all awful.
I feel like body swap movies can be just like... Well, okay, the title of the movie is a play on Freaky Friday.
Right.
And then it's Friday the 13th when it happens.
Yes. Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
You're not saying anything anybody doesn't know, Cleo. Come on.
I know that. I don't know. I was kind of just like on it, but then we watched it, and I really liked it because Vince Vaughn is also so. Vince Vaughn is a teenage girl in every movie now. We need him like that in every movie. He was so good. It's just really, and I liked all the like references to older movies. There's quite a few different things. I mean, Freaky Friday, but I don't know. It was just it was a fun like slasher, I guess, just to watch. A lot of jokes, really funny jokes, especially with the scene where it's her like boyfriend crush or whatever, and he's like, I want to kiss you, and she's still in Vince Vaughn's body, and then they actually kiss. That was insane. That was so... I really liked it, though. I would definitely rewatch that like 10 more times.
Okay. Noted.
Yay. We have to have Mom watch that with us. I feel she would like it. And then Lisa Frankenstein was really good.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
cute
when
too.
It came out, a lot of people were like, it's like a weird, woke Frankenstein cringe fest. And I was like, are we saying that because the woman director? And then, of course, we watched it, and I was like, this is not... You guys are boring. This is a fun movie. I liked it. It was cute. Like, fun concept. And I haven't seen Cole Sprouse in a lot of things, which sounds weird because I'm like I grew up on Disney or whatever. I didn't watch any of his shows. Sweet Life on deck. I didn't watch any of that. It was cool watching him in that because I know who he is, but I've never seen him in anything other than that. It was a cool concept, though. I liked it. Very, very 80s.
It was actually a lot better than I expected. I had heard good things, but I was like, I don't know if it's for me, but I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Catherine Newton again.
She's really good.
That leads us to the last one with her.
Abigail.
And the last one I think that we'll be talking about is Abigail.
Yeah.
She's not the lead like she is in those.
But she's also pretty good in that movie. That movie was kind of a wild ride.
That was fun too. That had gotten some good word of mouth or good notice, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it when it streams somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched it when it was available on VOD, and there you go. It was good. Worth it.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
I liked all those people in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Her, Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens. That's a Micah Monroe movie you need to see as the guest with her and Dan Stevens.
The little girl who was in the Matilda musical movie. She was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are she's like probably I don't know if she's a Broadway kid, but she's definitely like a theater kid.
Right.
I think Matilda and this movie are like the only few movies that she's been in, which is really funny. Like, I was in Matilda the musical, and then also my Abigail ballet murder
vampire.
Movie. Yeah, vampire murder movie. She's very good in it.
Mm-hmm.
A very different character. I don't know. It was a fun watch.
Yeah, those all three were a little more on the comedic side. Abigail isn't a horror comedy, but there are definitely humorous touches throughout that film. Disgusting scene with a pool full of corpses. So you get some gore too.
Come across gross pools of things, like in Phenomena.
Yes, the Phenomena. Yeah, Reapers, Phenomena. Jennifer ends up in. Yeah, backtracking to Longlegs again. That brings up something else that it's not very gory. I had heard it was really gory. Like I read that a few times, and most of the kills are off screen. There's one corpse that they show that's pretty gross, but Blackcoat's daughter is much gorier than Longlegs. Mm-hmm. Other than the interrogation room scene, which I know we were sort of back out of spoilers, so I won't say anything about that. Other than that, it was pretty tame, actually, as far as gore.
Which I'm fine with. I know not a lot of people are like, I like thrillers or psychological or whatever, but I like stuff like that. So Longlegs being kind of the type of movie that it is, fine with me. I felt if there was gore in it would kind of take away from like everything else.
If it was of the scenes I'm thinking of where they're showing, these families, if it was full on, it would be a little too much.
Yeah, because like she has the crime scene photos. That's like, that gets the point across of like what happened.
So anyway, back to Abigail.
Yeah.
Or back to whatever, anything else that we've watched that I've missed on my list.
I mean, we could talk about the other Os Perkins stuff that just me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We watched, so we've seen Blackcoat's Daughter. Don't know if we talked about that, but we watched that Twilight Zone episode.
Oh yeah, we watched his Twilight.
Which was actually pretty fun.
You and I have watched everything he's directed at this point.
Yeah, I believe so.
I didn't really have much interest in watching the Twilight Zone series because it did not get good critic or audience reviews.
I get that. It's hard to beat OG Twilight Zone.
But yeah, that was a pretty interesting episode. Very different story from his other stuff. And he wrote that. Yeah. There was an obvious nod to a classic Twilight Zone episode. And it was just kind of weird. Stylized, very static camera with framing and composition and a small cast. Except when the aliens show up.
That he's also one of the aliens. I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. I wish I had known beforehand so I could have seen which one he was.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell. It was cool though. I've seen a select few of like original Twilight Zone episodes. I've never seen any of it's a reboot basically, right? It's not like it's just a reboot. I didn't know anything about the episode. I didn't know what was going on. It was a very weird concept. It was almost Black Mirror-y.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. Like they're talking about an egg, but then there's something else going on. And
also she keeps waking up in her bed and hearing music. What's going on?
And she didn't have an egg at that point. So it's like, well, what's this other weird stuff that's going on that doesn't seem to have to do with the egg?
The egg.
Yeah, it was.
She's in workout clothes every day.
Everybody was.
Yeah. The weird music that sounded kind of like the original Twilight Zone music, I think.
Mhm.
Like, it was very similar to that. It was interesting. Like, it was a cool episode to watch. It was a very
I enjoyed
odd
it.
concept. Yeah, I did too.
Since we have seen all of his stuff, what's your hierarchy of Oz Perkins directed, say, films? Because he's done a TV episode.
Yeah. I'd still say, I think Longlegs is still like my favorite. And then Blackcoat's Daughter is probably next in that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't really know. I liked all of the other ones I watched, but I don't know where I would like place them. Like, if
We'll
you
figure
were,
it
like,
out
top
real
5.
quick. Come on.
What the heck?
Well, that's all there are, 5. So
Okay.
Longlegs, Blackcoat's Daughter. Number 3, Pretty Thing.
Pretty Thing. Gretel and Hansel, and then Twilight Zone.
Mine would be almost the same.
You'd switch Longlegs and
I'd switch Longlegs and Blackcoat's Daughter.
Yeah.
Although, no, let me just go through mine. So Blackcoat's Daughter is number 1.
Mhm.
Longlegs is 2. I think Gretel and Hansel and Pretty Thing are probably tied for 3rd. And then just because it's a TV show with not a whole lot going on, the Twilight Zone episode would be last, just because.
It's just a TV show, yeah. Yeah.
But Blackcoat's Daughter will be number 1 until something knocks it off. I don't think I'll switch. Maybe I will. I didn't like Blackcoat's Daughter the first time I watched it. So
yeah. If we rewatch Longlegs whenever it's like out for streaming.
Yeah, we will. And
for sure.
I've watched Pretty Thing 3 times now, and I've enjoyed it more each time. That happened with Blackcoat's Daughter. I do not enjoy it nearly as much as Blackcoat's Daughter, but every time I watched Blackcoat's Daughter, I liked it exponentially more than the last time.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening with Longlegs because there's much more going on in that.
Yeah, and there's more to discover, I think, about that movie too.
I agree. All right, anything else?
Did we watch anything else? I don't think we did.
All right, well, thank you for joining me, and I don't know, maybe we'll squeeze in something else before you go back to school, but who knows?
Yeah.
I thought we'd have quite a few more done during the summer since you didn't have anything else to do, and this is the only one we've done since April. We'll see. No promises, people.
Yeah.
So what should people track down for their viewing?
Definitely Longlegs. I mean, duh.
And it's Neon, so it'll be on Hulu. That's where their movies end up streaming. Doesn't look like they're pushing for one of those quick theater then VOD releases like a lot of, I mean, even Furiosa was out on VOD
it was out quick.
2 weeks after it played in theaters. So I think they're being smart with Longlegs and
it
letting
helps the vibe.
It's got long legs. They're letting it play in the theaters for get that cash, Oz.
Come on, Oz, make another one. Let's go.
Anything else people should track down?
I'd say definitely watch First Omen so you can see the scene that we're talking about.
Yeah.
If you have not already. And if you're curious.
They went there.
Wow. Yep. Oh my god.
Yeah, and plus it's good. I think
it's a good
I don't know
movie
if I
too,
ever mentioned which one I preferred, but I leaned a little harder towards the First Omen than Immaculate. I think I enjoyed that one a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'd say, but I don't know. Immaculate's really good too.
Yeah. Catch those. They were hyped up, but I think they
needed a little more because
they lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
And all right. We will see you when we see you next. I don't know when that'll be, but, Wake Up Heavy is just kind of sporadic right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch my other monthly shows, though, Cambridge and Washawn and the Chasing Chevy Chase podcast over on Weirding Way Media. Those do come out on a regular basis. And then just keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next episode of Wake Up Heavy. Thanks for joining me, Cleo.
Yay!
Diddle, diddle, black coat's daughter, what was in the holy water? Gone to bed on an unclean head. The angels, they forgot her. Diddle, diddle, black coat's daughter, what was in the holy water? to bed on an unclean head. The angels, they forgot her.
Wake Up Heavy is a Weirding Way Media podcast.